Hi guys, in today's video we are going to look at generating random numbers, which is actually quite fun. So let's have a look. So let's open Visual Studio. I'm going to create a new project. We stick in with our console app .NET Framework C# template. We will call this one random numbers and we will click create. So we are going to implement the while loop that we've looked at in previous videos. So we're going to say while true, and then we're going to outline what we'd like to do in our program. So I'm going to ask the user to press return. We are going to generate a random number, and we are going to show the number to the user. And actually, let's have a little intro to our program. So we will tell the user about the program, something like that. So yeah, let's get cracking on that. So we know how to talk to the users. We're going to use console.writeLine. Say, hello user, welcome to the random number generator version 1.0. Actually, be handy if it said generator. So that's our introduction. We're going to ask the user to press return. So console.writeLine. And we're going to say press return for a new random number. And then we are going to wait for the user to press return. So console.readLine. Notice how we're not assigning this to a variable because we don't actually care what they put in, just a return, or if they type anything in, that's good enough for us. And now we're going to generate a random number. So the interesting thing about random number generating is you have to use an object called the rand object. And you need to use the same one every time. If you just make a new rand every time and ask for a number, you'll always get the same number. So what we need to do is create the rand object outside of the scope of our while loop. The outer parent scope is where we'll do it. So up here, we will say var, because we want a new variable, and we'll call this random number generator, and we'll assign it to be a new random, sorry. So now we've got our new random, which is an object that we can ask for random numbers. So we can then generate a new random number down here, and we can say var random number equals, and then we'll random number generator. I don't know why I named that such a long variable. There we go. Random number generator dot, and what you actually ask for here is you say you want the next random number. You can also do next double. Double is another type of number, a bit like an integer. We've not covered those yet. And you can also ask for the next bytes. Bytes are, well, it's like binary code. I guess like we could cover that in another video, but it's kind of outside of the scope of what we're doing today. So the only thing we're really interested in right now is next. If you click on this one, you'll see that that returns an integer, and that's what we want. So we'll just double click on that one. You can also just type next, just so it's obvious. And then we'll complete our line. So now we've assigned our random number to our random number variable here. And now we just need to let the user know that we have a random number for them. So we'll say console.writeLine, and then we will just tell them your new number is, and then we'll just add the number on the end here. So plus random number. And it'll tell the user the number. And then the loop will start again. I'm not going to put an exit command on this one because I don't think we need it. I'll just run that and see how we get on. Hello user, welcome to the random number generator version 1.0. Press return for a new random number. So let's press return. Your new random number is, and then you'll see 128211521. Press return for a new random number. Ooh, these numbers are quite big. You'll see those numbers are massive. And what you might find actually is when you need a random number, you need to control how big that number is. And we can do that very easily as well. So in the next function that we called here, we actually can pass some parameters. So if I just bring up this box, and if you'll see that we called it next, and it says it returns a non-negative random integer, and that's what we're getting. And there's a lot of integers, millions and millions actually, well, an infinite number of integers to choose from. So it's just pulling in a random one, and you'll see in our examples, they were pretty large numbers. What you might find you want is you want to put a limit on how big the number can be, or you might want to set a min and a max value. There's loads of instances where these are really useful. You might want to give something a percentage value. So you need a number between 0 and 100. So in here, you could say, just put 100 for a max value. And if we go ahead and run that, and we press return for our number, you'll see that all of the numbers I get are between 0 and 100. So that's pretty cool. But you may also find that you want to be even more restrictive, and you might actually want to say it's between 23 and 47. So go ahead and run that. You'll find that our numbers are always between the target numbers. So this is really good for, let's say you wanted to make maybe you want to make a text-based RPG, and your character has an attack accuracy percentage. So maybe I don't know, let's say they've got a damage stat, and their damage stat might be 10 to 24. So when they use an attack command, you could generate a random number that is between 10 and 24, and then the luck of the draw will be whether they hit on the lower end of their attack or the higher end of their attack. That's the kind of things that games do all the time. Games use random number generators constantly for things like loot generation, for attack damage, for shields, all sorts of stuff. So random numbers are really, really useful, and that's how you generate your own ones. If you have any questions, just hit me up in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.